What's up? Welcome to episode 12 Jar Sports Takes. Coming back for the second week in a row after a win, this time on Thanksgiving over the Giants. Before I get in the video, past two videos got 70 plus views. Really appreciate it. If you subscribe, like, share it, much appreciated. Just trying to make it big, trying to get this page to grow. Get my name out there and, hopefully work my way up this ladder of in the sports media world. Great Thanksgiving win. Love to see the win on Thanksgiving. Love to see a second win in a row, especially against a division rival. The Giants are a bad football team, as I've stated in the past. They're probably going to have that number one overall pick, looking at Shador Sanders or Cam Ward up there. A lot of bright spots on Thanksgiving, though. Overshown had the interception for a touchdown. Game wrecker. Parsons obviously played great also. Rico, first 100-yard game, scored a touchdown on the ground. The line looked better with Hoffman in there. I know Zach Martin's dealing with the injury, but Hoffman, came in. He has a little attitude to him. I like it. I think down the line he's definitely going to be a starter once, Martin hangs them cleats up. Cook scored on his first game back. Defense is looking like it's definitely meshing a lot better together. I know it's against a team like the Giants that are bad or technically on their third string quarterback with Drew Lock, but nonetheless, they played good. It's still an NFL opponent, especially in prime time. Actually, the most viewed game all season long, believe it or not, against two bad teams that are probably not going to be in the playoffs. Without talking about last week's game and the last couple weeks' games, Dallas Cowboys are in a very weird position. They're sitting at 5-7 right now, kind of in the middle of the pack in the NFC. They're either 12th seed as the playoff picture, or we can have the 13th overall pick in the NFL draft. So, very weird position for them to be in at this point. Looking good past two games. I know they beat a team like the Giants, then another division rival in Washington, which means obviously division games a lot closer. A lot of things can happen, and it doesn't, always speak to what type of team they are on the other side of the sidelines. Nonetheless, they picked up two wins and they've set themselves up for a possible playoff push. Very unlikely, but it is doable. And before I give my opinion about what I want them to do, the Dallas Cowboys, the players, the coaches are going to want to win games regardless. Like, whatever the fans want, they don't care. They want to win games. They're playing for their lives. They're playing for their contracts in the future, like I've stated before. It's just how the NFL works. No team is going to tank like that, knowing that their job can be gone next year. And for me personally, if they win, cool. If they lose, cool. I'm always going to be okay with a higher draft pick. I know this season hasn't gone the way we've wanted it to. A lot of injuries, just a lot of unfortunate things have happened this season that the Dallas Cowboys fans have not wanted to see after having, Super Bowl aspirations. But, if we try to make this playoff run, say they do rattle off these last five wins, get that seventh seed, do I think they beat the second seed in Philly, Detroit possibly, Minnesota, Green Bay? I just don't think they go into a stadium like that and win a game, especially with the team they have constructed currently. I don't think Cooper Rush can do that. If Dak somehow comes back, do you throw him in the fire week one in the playoffs? I just don't think it's a realistic, option. So speaking of hypotheticals, let's say they do rattle off wins against Cincy, Carolina, Tampa, Philly, and Washington. We're sitting at the seventh seed. I don't think it can get any higher. This is currently what the playoff picture looks like. Tampa's 6-6, San Fran's 5-7, and they still are both ahead of us. So a lot of things got to happen. A lot of teams got to lose. A lot of balls got to fall our way, and to possibly get in the fifth and sixth seed, impossible. And if they could get that position, say we win two more games in the past, playing Seattle or Atlanta, I'm confident that they can go in and get a win. Maybe, some things fall their way, and a miraculous, NFC Conference Championship could be upon us, but not going to happen. So with winning these games, say we do win. The only thing they're doing is hurting the draft stock. That if they win these games, say they win 3-4, there's very likely, that draft pick in the first round can touch 20, obviously. In the second round, third round, it also goes up. So they're not looking hot for that. You have a lot of these top guys are going to be gone by then. And then, honestly, I haven't been looking at, them 15 to 20 range of who they could possibly get and who will still be there. So I have no clue who could immediately come in and step in and help this team next year. So, like I said, if they win, whatever. If they lose, I'm fine with it. I'm not going to be mad at this point. And like I've said, if they do somehow win these games and get that seventh seed, I don't see them beating any of the teams I've named, Detroit, Philly, Green Bay, or Minnesota. It's just not going to happen. All them teams been on a roll this season. They all look very good. They all look like, possible Super Bowl contenders, obviously with Detroit, Philly, and Green Bay being probably my top three in the conference right now. So if they win games, it is what it is, but probably not good in the long run. But say they do start losing games. Say they, go 0-5, 1-4. they're gonna get into the top 10. Like, there's no doubt about it. Say we get top 13, just say it stays like this right now. Genty should be out there. Carter should be out there. You can always trade up, which I don't think they'll do personally. It's just something they're not known for in the past. And I know a lot of fans are gonna hate to see them losing, but if you know any type of football, you know that draft pick is a lot more than winning, meaningless games down the stretch in December and January. So I understand from both sides of view, but I've been looking for the draft since late October, early November, seeing who we could get, watching film on some of these guys. And there's a few names I obviously love. I love Genty. I love Carter out of Penn State. I love McMillan out of Arizona, but he is definitely going to be a top five guy, which sucks because I know he's going to be a dog in the NFL, 6'5", just go up and get the ball type of kid. So that sucks, but that's just where Dallas is at this point in the season. So, and during the stretch, I think they're going to go 2-3. I think we get dogged by Cincy this week. The way they've been playing and still losing games, and then seeing an opponent like us where they know they can beat us and put, Hank 50 on us. I think they're going to do it. I mean, they're out of the playoffs at this point, too. Highly doubt. They're kind of in the same position we are, honestly. But they have looked a lot better. Joe Burrow would be an MVP candidate if you flip their record around. So I think he goes out and dominates. Carolina, Bryce Young's looked a lot better, but I think we can get that win. Tampa, I think we lose too, especially with them, fighting for their division lives out there in the NFC South. And then Philly, we lose because they're going to be fighting for that first seed. And I think we can get another win on Washington at home last game this season. Hopefully, ruin their playoff picture, maybe bump them down a seed or two. So 2-3 to end the season, probably top probably top 13 pick. I think it stays the same if we do end up doing that. But with 5 games left, you gotta cherish every time you put that TV on and get to watch this team because it's a long off season. It sucks not watching football, especially when your favorite team's not playing. But if you're watching and you do like the Cowboys, definitely try to watch some of these bowl games coming up. See some of these guys that we could possibly pick. Watch some film on them. Try to get an idea of who you would want them to pick. Don't go blindly into saying just off other people's words of saying, "Oh yeah, we want him." I see it all the time on Twitter. People just agreeing with people, not knowing any knowledge behind the pick or the guy at all. And it just goes to show that a lot of these people just kind of follow what they see on the internet, especially football wise, opinions and stuff like that. I mean, they were blaming Burrow for Cincinnati being terrible, and he would be an MVP candidate if they were at a winning record. Their defense stinks. So it amazes me on TV, some of these guys and their opinions, because it's ridiculous sometimes. It's like mind blowing that they have TV jobs talking the way they do. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this episode. Just kind of wanted to say they're in a weird position right now. At the end of the season, see them wrap up before, free agency starts, draft starts, combine, and, all the off-season stuff that, rattles down in the spring. But like I said at the beginning of the video, appreciate the views. If you subscribe, like, share, all of it's much appreciated. And if you got this far, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.